So obviously, when I was born, you know, I was given the same test that everyone else was, which had 2 questions. And the first one was like, gender. A, boy, B, girl, C, D, both, or E, other. And then the second question was like, so what do you like? And it was like, A, boys, B, girls, C, all of the above, D, none, or E, I don't give a fuck. And you know, when I was born, I just kind of checked, you know, gender B, sexuality A, you know, and then in elementary school they gave me the test again, as they do for everyone, and then, you know, I kind of had the same answers. And then in 6th grade, when I got the test, I was like, oh hey, I think my answers changed a little bit. So obviously the first question was still B, and the second question, I was like, C, maybe, and then 7th grade, my answer changed again, and it was like B, and then B. And so, you know, that's kind of how it happened, and that's how I became a lesbian. So easy, right? Oh wait, that's not how it happened. So guys, it's Lilanah, I'm Hannah, and this is Strictly Lesbians, and this is bullshit. So obviously, my knowledge of the whole transgender thing is not really that extensive. Just as a little disclaimer for the start of this video, I may say something incorrect or something, and you know, I'm gonna try my best to just not say things that I don't know things about. But you know, basically all I know is like definitions and the obvious parts. As you saw in my introduction, I had a really sarcastic, sassy intro, as I tend to do because I'm sassy and sarcastic. So, you know, the point of that was, we aren't given options. Like, when you're born, you come out and then the doctor goes, oh, it's a boy or it's a girl, and then they don't really have to say anything about it, but you assume that they're gonna get married and have a little backyard wedding with a perfectly opposite sex couple and just, you know, have slightly good looking children. But that's always never the case. I mean, not always, sometimes it is, but if you think about it, there are so many options. Like, obviously, you know, you can be born and you can still think that you're a girl when you were given girl parts, and then you grow up to like girls, or, you know, you can be a girl given girl parts and you can grow up to like boys, or both, or all of them, or none of them. And then, you know, the same thing goes for if you're born as a boy and then you decide that you are in fact a girl, and then you can still like boys or girls or all or none or both or whatever your little heart desires, or like halfway, like 40%, 30%. You know, like, you can do so many different things. And so my question is, how is this world so black and white? Like, we aren't even black and white. We aren't even black and white and gray. Like, there are so many colors, like a rainbow. And it's just like, there's so many possibilities for what you could be. Like, your sexuality and gender wheel of fortune could land on anything. And it's like, the world kind of still just assumes that you're going to be normal when you're born. And it's like, you know, how is that even normal? Because there's so many people out there that are just so different, and like, you can truly have any sexuality that your little heart desires. Everyone has these type of struggles, but then, you know, I would imagine that it's probably harder for the transgender community, because it's like, oh my god, like, I am not even in the right body, like, God did not give me the right parts, so what am I going to do? And then, you know, you kind of crushed all of your parents' dreams from the second that you came from the womb, and they automatically just put all of these labels on you and think of this little story in their head and paint your room pink, and maybe you would have wanted your room blue. And it's like, you know, I want everyone to know, you know, because I have a lot of like younger viewers, I suppose, and I just want people to know that you can be anything. Like, absolutely anything. All of the things that I listed, and if you think of more, comment below. Like, you can be any of those things. And so, do what you want with your damn self. Like, it doesn't matter what other people want. You need to be happy. And this video also kind of goes along with my labels video and a lot of things, because all the time I get questions from, you know, people, a lot of like little girls and things that are like, oh my god, I just don't know, I'm so confused, and help me put a label on myself. And that drives me insane, because it's like, first of all, I don't know, because I can't, like, I'm not inside your head. I can't be like, oh, you like 35% girls and 65% boys, or, you know, like, because as I said, you know, a lot of bisexuals have, like, preferences, or, like, you know, there's always the differences and everything. Or, you know, maybe I could be like, oh yeah, you're definitely a lesbian, but really, you're a transgender who likes boys. Like, that is definitely a thing. And I don't want to steer you wrong, first of all, and second of all, I want you to go out and experience the world and figure out what you are on your own. Because my opinion doesn't necessarily mean anything, and it doesn't really matter, and honestly, like, I'm really tired of getting messages that are like, what am I? Because it's like, honey, it doesn't matter. And I know how it feels at that state, because, you know, I remember, you know, when I was like going to my counselor and everything, and I was like, please help me, like, what am I? And then she told me this, the whole spiel that I was like, you don't have to rush things, like, you're young, and it drove me insane, but it's so true, because you don't want to stick yourself somewhere. You know, like, I kind of stuck the label bisexual on myself in 7th grade, which obviously proved to be false. And, you know, like, everyone, like, a lot of people do this, and that gives bisexual a bad name. Like, sticking labels on yourself right away is not good. After you've taken all of the steps and you are labeled or not, or whatever you please to do with yourself, then, you know, obviously going to get a lot of hate and things. And then this video was kind of more heavily on the transgender topic, so a lot of the reasons I will have are more transgender. The gay ones are obvious and in 90% of my other videos. So you can go watch the rest of them to figure out why it's not easy being gay. And so anyways, so, you know, people are going to make things awkward for you and uncomfortable, and, you know, before you're really comfortable with yourself, things are going to be awkward anyways and uncomfortable, and then there's going to be things like bathrooms and locker rooms, and, you know, a lot of the adults at school or, you know, in offices and, like, things like that, they don't really understand it because of the time period they came from, and so it's like, you know, they don't really try their best to help you and everything, and they, you know, they don't understand, and, you know, there's a lot of things that involve you putting down your gender or whatever, you know, and then it's like, well, what do I put for that, you know, and then the school usually, like, a lot of schools don't take these things legitimately and just kind of brush it to the side. I don't really, like, my school definitely doesn't have a unisex bathroom, and that's not cool, you know, just like the one stalls, like, I'm not saying that we should have those so that straight people can go have sex in the bathroom, I'm saying that we should have those because, you know, black and white, boy and girl, it's not always the same. And even just, like, as a lesbian in the locker rooms and in bathrooms, it can get weird if you, like, there's this one girl, I mentioned her before, the girl who was, like, the first girl to be ever mean about the whole thing, and, you know, somebody was here in the bathrooms, and it's just, you know, it always leads to awkward, uncomfortable situations. And, you know, obviously, just because you are 10 times more interesting than all these straight people, and they're just jealous. No, I'm kidding. Kind of. I mean, honestly, you are, so you can rock that shit. However, you know, in a serious matter, you need to know that you are perfect, and if another person has a problem with you, that's their problem. There's nothing wrong with you. You are absolutely positively wonderful and spectacular and perfect and marvelous, and I don't want you to ever think differently of yourself, because you're amazing. Like, damn. You're great. Like, 10 out of 10. Fabulous. So, I think that's pretty much all I had to say, and you know, as I said at the very beginning, my knowledge on transgenderness is limited, and so I would really like to unlimit it. So if you are in fact transgender that just so happens to like my videos, then comment, or you can kick me with my little thing, which I usually put in my videos. I think I probably put, I don't know. I don't think I put it in my last one, but I think I'm going to put it in this one. Anyways, you know, contact me or something, because I would like to get to know a lot more about all of these things, because, you know, it's not the LGBT community without the T, or the QIA LMNOPs, as we say. And so, yeah. Okay, I love all of you very, very much. Stay beautifully awesome and wonderful, and I will see you, like, eventually.